All is not well in Afghanistan under the Taliban 2.0. The UN report warns of the return of the exclusionary policies of the Taliban from the 1990s. The youth are being brainwashed into suicide missions and have become the new heroes, even for their parents. We tell you more in our next report.
August 15, 2021. The return of the Taliban at the helm in Afghanistan. The US-backed Northern Alliance had been routed. Taliban 2.0 assured, however, that its new avatar would be different, more tolerant, less exclusionary, more accommodating to women's rights. 2 years on, though, hopes stand dashed, and near completely. A United Nations analytical support and sanctions monitoring team spells it out, and it's gloom and doom all around. There are indications, the report says, that Al-Qaeda is rebuilding operational capability with a strong and symbiotic link with the Taliban and Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. The Taliban under Haibatullah Akhundzada is said to have reverted to the exclusionary, Pashtun-centered autocratic policies of the Taliban administration of the 1990s. Operations of the Islamic State's Khorasan branch are stated as having become more lethal in Afghanistan. And it points out that the Taliban has not delivered on counter-terrorism provisions under the agreement with the US. Ground realities reflect the ingrained mindsets that the Taliban symbolizes. The lush green Tangi Valley in eastern Afghanistan is a microcosm that says suicide attacks are a justified fight-back weapon, part of a so-called jihad or religious struggle. New jobs are virtually non-existent. For brainwashed youth like Ismail Ashukullah, suicide bombing turns into the proverbial career avenue.
Praise be to God, I was already doing jihad here, but it was not giving me satisfaction. So I thought I should do a suicide operation against the foreign forces that could satisfy the hearts of Muslims all over the world and as well as mine. That's why I chose this path.
More disturbing, youth like Ismail are not exceptions of the kind that have run away from home or are deemed a shame by parents. The parents of Najibullah, a boy who carried out a suicide attack and killed himself in the process, wear what they call his martyrdom as a badge of pride.
I was told that Najib was martyred. He reached his rightful destination. I replied, "May God accept his martyrdom." I said only those words and drove the car to inform his mother. I told her, "Congratulations, your son was martyred. God granted him success."
He did a very honorable job at a young age. Praise be the God. But I'm satisfied he went with my permission. But the memory of him affects me a lot. Praise be the God. We have seen very difficult times.
Attacks range from lone bombers in suicide vests targeting convoys of foreign forces to complex missions against military installations. A readiness to die to kill, that's the common theme. And it starts here. Condition the young men to believe they are superior to the rest of society if they die to kill. Encourage them to believe that the world they live in is fundamentally unimportant and that glory is in martyrdom.
Young men who've had the training, who've declared themselves willing to die, still notionally are still thought of as being fidain, they consider themselves superior to the rest of society, even to other Taliban, even to their white bearded commanders and leaders. They're the ones who have been who are prepared to make the ultimate sacrifice.
Like many of Afghanistan's ills bred by the Taliban, this one too feeds on itself. The Taliban claim foreign fighters and Afghan troops were always the target. Fact is, civilians made up the largest proportion of victims. Over 1,500 died in suicide attacks in 2019 alone, says a UN report. A nation turns into a whirlpool of hate that can't come out of a spiral of its own making.